This is the Uncensored Man Radio Show. This show contains adult language and content. Listener discretion is advised.
So beautiful. I love that. Happy Monday, August 4th, 2025.
Happy Monday, August 4th, the day of our Lord Jesus.
So, was a rough weekend. I don't know why I keep sleeping so much, but waking up, well, it's just been drab. It's been like rainy all fucking weekend.
That's probably why.
Reminds me of Monterey in November. Monterey, Mexico is up in the mountains and they get some brutal winter weather where it's like still humid as fuck. So you step outside in like 50-degree weather, but you're sweating under your shirt like within a few minutes. So
well,
it's an interesting.
It's beautiful out. It is just absolutely beautiful in the Black Hills of South Dakota. Good morning and welcome to the Uncensored Man podcast.
Naturally, it's always beautiful out there.
It's always a great day if we're doing this show. Doesn't matter if it's raining or snowing, sun shining. This is great.
It's a great day for this Little Tay chick that made $1 million like 2 hours after she turned 18 and created her OnlyFans account. Did you see that?
Yeah, what in the world? Are you serious?
So you remember that chick that was on Dr. Phil a few years ago? The white girl who's really ghetto? The Catch Me Outside girl?
Oh, Catch Me Outside, how about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she goes by some stupid name, Bad Baby, and of course it's spelled like in the most retarded way possible.
Right.
She was also popular. Once she turned 18, she started an OnlyFans and she made $51 million in a year.
Are you serious?
So, yep, dead serious. Apparently, Little Tay is some girl that I guess was exploited and groomed at a young age and, obviously sexualized. And once she turned 18, millions of perverts want to pay money to see her pornographic OnlyFans page. To me, I think OnlyFans should be outlawed.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with you on that. It's a degenerate. It's just the most degenerate thing I've ever seen. And
you can't really have a functioning society where you enrich this kind of behavior. They said something like over 1 million girls in the U.S. have OnlyFans accounts. Most of them don't make money, but stuff like this makes them all think it's a viable career option.
Right.
So this is part of the overall degradation of American culture.
Oh, I see what happened here. She had over 2.3 million followers on TikTok. Oh, at Lil Tay with over 6 million followers on Instagram. No wonder she got so many people to sign up right away.
And why is she popular? What is she, an intelligent person?
Highly unlikely.
Does she bring anything of value to society? No, she's just an over-sexualized little kid. And now she's 18 And because she puts pictures of herself naked on the internet, she's a multimillionaire. So this is a degenerate society that we live in. This is an evil society. A society that enriches slut behavior will get slut behavior everywhere.
True.
So, this is like, I'm not hyper religious, but this is really biblical levels of degeneracy.
Wow.
And it's like, how did it get this bad? How did it get this fucking bad? It's the richest people. What's ironic is there's also news, that came out this weekend. When you take married men, when you look at men who are married and own houses under 30, it's like 12% today compared to 50% in 1950.
That's insane.
That's an insane figure. That's an insane figure.
Bad crypto chart, man. I mean, it just drops.
And why and how are the two stories connected? Well, look what the society rewards and look what it punishes. So society rewards degeneracy and slut behavior while simultaneously making just basic upward mobility virtually impossible. So why is it that 12% of U.S. men who are 30 are married and have a house? Because the houses are unaffordable for most men.
And so are the women.
And the women are unaffordable for most men.
They are.
In many ways.
That's the quickest way for a guy to go broke is to get with the wrong woman, for sure.
But these two things are very closely connected. Because it's like, on the one hand, you have men. The American dream has died for most young men, but the American dream is alive and well for the low IQ, narcissistic, degenerate segments of society. You can enrich yourself more today than you ever could, and that's a problem. That's a huge problem. No wonder men are checking out of society. Who wants to contribute to a society like this? You compare this in China, for example, they have decency laws.
Really?
They don't allow this kind of thing. They don't have fucking OnlyFans there. They don't just heavily pornography their culture. But America does. So it's the biggest cultural issue. I think it's the biggest cultural issue. It's tied into everything. It says something about, there's so few. The young women today are just like, man, this is what you get. So it's like, you can't buy a house, can't start a family, can't trust any of these young women today. Who can you trust? Oh, the church? The church that's attached to the Starbucks that has the multimillionaire pastor. I know not all churches are like that. I guess my overall point is we just have total moral decay.
We do.
It's totally morally hollowed out, and the implications of this are staggering. Men are leaving the workforce. You've heard of this thing called NEETs, right? NEETS, not in employment, education, or training. So dudes that just sit home and play video games all day and don't have a job. You know people like that.
I do know people like that, yeah.
So in the past, under the previous ethos, the tactic was to shame those men and be like, well, you're a loser. You'll never get anywhere in life. But tell me what the average man gets from staying home, playing video games, reading books, or doing whatever leisurely things he decides to do. Tell me what he gets out of society if he does that versus gets a 9-to-5 shitty, low-paying job, has to deal with the roasties in the HR department, has to deal with stupid meetings, has to work for people that are robots and narcissists. I mean, what is the point?
The workforce is just so narcissistic. Most jobs are. That's why I try not to work a regular job, like contract
me too.
Or self-employment is just the way.
Well, me too, but just think of the larger picture. It's like degenerate, evil, garbage moral society where men are increasingly just not participating. How is the system supposed to continue in perpetuity? Has anyone asked Trump yet? Has anyone asked Trump to comment on the 12% 30-year-old home ownership and marriage rates? Is that something that
probably Elon did?
Someone thinks is important to ask him.
Elon probably asked him before they broke up.
He'll probably fire the person who came up with who put the statistics down, just like he fired the whole jobs person last week. Remember that? They released the revised job numbers. They were lower than expected. He just fired the person who released it. So this is also part of fantasy narcissistic culture is you don't like something, you attack the messenger. And that's also relevant to the story because, again, who is the low number of jobs affecting? It's affecting primarily young men. Young men are Trump's base.
Something funny about Trump is I've always kind of liked him. Well, not always, I should say, but as a president, I always thought, dang, I kind of like this guy, you know. But the one thing that sticks out in my mind isn't all this other degeneracy bullshit that people talk about him. You know what sticks out in my mind the most about Trump? The only thing that ever was off-putting to me.
What?
Remember that show? You know his show?
Which show?
What was it? The
Apprentice?
Was that the show? Yeah. And he's like, anytime somebody just did something slightly wrong, you fired. Just like that. What I didn't like is you're fucking disposable, right? It was damn. You know what I mean? It's just
yeah, that was the point.
They were just fucking disposable.
Well,
I don't like that.
That's a very American capitalistic narcissistic ethos. People are just easily disposable.
The shittiest part about being alive today is working in that nature of an environment. I hate that. That made me actually, and like I said, I like Trump. I mean, as a president, I don't know. I think he's a badass fucker, but I know people who think he's doing a lot of shit wrong, but that did make me dislike him at the time. I was just I don't fucking like this show because I don't like that kind of behavior, you know? People are not, got to work with people a little bit, you know?
Yeah, well, people like that about him because they feel like he takes that attitude into the government.
Well,
but I'm just more saying this is the attitude. It's a shift from the WASP culture because WASP culture in the mid early 1950s didn't treat people just like disposable.
Right.
You know, people worked for a company. They worked there typically their whole adult lives. They retired. They had good benefits. I mean, there's a million examples. You look at Henry Ford paid his workers way more than he could have gotten away with. You had factory workers that could support an entire family on just a single person salary. I mean, all the things you hear, that's all been totally destroyed. Now the ethos in corporate America is literally just pure cold compliance and what's the bottom line? And you're not enhancing the bottom line, fuck you, fuck off, go away. It's just a very narcissistic society. Even the idea of human resources, humans are just resources. That's all. So most people have checked out of mentally can't stand going to work, office jobs, things where they have to interact with other people. But
I'm with you.
The degeneracy
stand it.
The degeneracy gets me the most because this is what signals to other young women how to behave. It's an absolute disaster. So your whole life you could just aspire to be a slut on the internet. And who wants to marry a woman like that?
Who
wants to have the mother of their children be some whore on the internet?
Oh, man, I gotta tell you this story. I had this neighbor of mine. He was a friend of mine, right? And his girlfriend was a OnlyFans, mega star. Anyways, I felt so bad for him. She's making all this money and he's just out there in this this fucker's just barely making, like whatever minimum wage is for grunt
What, she
work.
fucked other guys on camera or what?
No. She just I didn't watch her stuff, so I couldn't really tell you. You know what I mean? Because I'm not into that. I've never ever I've looked at a couple OnlyFans pages just to see who when I
I've
see
never
somebody
even been on the
noticing,
website. I've never
I
even
just
been on the
clicked
website.
their link and looked at their page, but I've never ever watched their porn or subscribed to any of that shit because I don't believe in it either. I think it's just a bunch of degenerate bullshit. I mean, if you want porn, yeah, there's porn, but this is just a new level of
One of the first girls I dated during my divorce was some chick who had an OnlyFans page. She drove out to meet me. And yeah, she ended up stealing my watch.
Really?
When I was in the bathroom, yeah. That was a bad experience.
She stole your watch. Was it a Rolex?
No.
Okay.
But it wasn't a cheap one either. I called the police. They went to her house and they're like, well, she's not answering the door. I'm like, well, gee, guys, thanks. Yeah. No, this is the OnlyFans needs to be banned.
I agree.
OnlyFans needs to be banned. All streaming pornography needs to be banned, and people who put it up need to go to prison. That's what I think. If you put me in charge, we go back to 1940s style cleansing society of degeneracy. And most people want that, by the way. Even people addicted to porn want that, I think. Porn needs to be outlawed. You can't have you cannot have a serious society with pornography. But on the other hand, you can't really outlaw porn because men don't have any outlet for. We have millions of single men, so it's like you have to. The more you fail to meet the basic needs of the members of your society, the more degeneracy you have to allow, the more degradation of your culture you have to allow. I'll give you another example. You know why we have so many illegal immigrants, and you know why we have this huge H-1B visa problem, and Europe has a huge immigration crisis. This is also due to cultural degradation. It's because when you separate the identity of your culture from the native people that live there, including their racial heritage and everything, and you cannot produce birth rates that adequately replace your younger generation, you have to import people to do it for you that are different than you. And so that's also a sign of cultural degradation, is mass, hard to control, actually just government refusing to control immigration issues. So, but at this point, if you are a person who lives in Latin America or anywhere else in the world thinking to come to the U.S., why? This is not a society. If I lived in China, I wouldn't want to send my daughter to live in the U.S.
Why do people still want to come here? But they do. They talk so much shit on it.
They do for education and economic opportunities.
There's people lined up for miles to come here. We've witnessed it over the last couple of years, everybody in the world. And it's astounding to me because I do this TikTok with, I got a lot of followers on there. So I get a lot of people from all over the world. And here's something interesting because I've got real world experience with people asking me to come over here and work with me, but it's every country. It's not just one specific region. It's every day I get a person from a different country begging me to come work with me to shear sheep. They don't even know what they're asking for. But I get it every day. It's from all different parts of the world. People are they have nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
People want to come here. This is a lot of girls I dated in Mexico really wanted to come to the U.S. They said eventually that was their goal, is to move to the U.S. even if they were, well, actually, a lot of the girls in Monterey didn't because they were upper class Mexicans. But yes, people think there's still economic opportunity here, and there is. No, my point is, no one moves here for the culture. No one moves here for OnlyFans and Miami, yacht slut culture. Maybe that's 0.1% of.
They just want an opportunity. I really believe that the majority of the people that do want to come here want an opportunity. I feel that, because of the amount of requests I've had for people to just come do I mean, basic.
Yeah, the numbers would suggest
husband.
there are fewer people trying to come to the U.S. illegally. It's been going down for several years. There are still lots of people that do want to come. There's still people that come on visas, H-1B visas. The larger point, though, I'm saying is the culture heavily influences behavior, very heavily, and especially for women. So that's what I'm saying is, why would you ever send your daughter to live in a culture like this? It's totally irresponsible. But
well, there's something appealing about our culture and our country because a lot of people want to come here.
It's economics.
It's economic.
It's always been economic.
You're still relatively free to do whatever the fuck you want to do here, and you can't tell me otherwise. I mean, I look around all around the world, and like people are getting. There's so much more censorship in other countries, and we can still basically talk. Thank God, like we're like setting the bar over here in America. Like,
well, free speech is important. But this society would be totally unbearable if you couldn't talk about it. That's what I said. Functionally, most people don't have free speech because, for example, the problems that we talk about on this podcast, you can't freely and openly say the things that we say without threatening your employment.
Right. They probably want to extradite us to the UK.
So the government can't take action against you, but the employer class can.
Right.
So it's just the show, I think, is partly documenting what's really happening.
I feel that
is not about painting rosy pictures or being overly pessimistic. On the other hand, it's just about pointing out reality.
Exactly.
What's true and what isn't true. Okay, it's not like doomsaying. It's not an hour of doomsaying or telling you that things are just awful just to be a black pillar. But things are objectively problematic. There are serious problems. And I think men today, a lot of podcasts are just about lying to men and their self-improvement bullshit. But what men want more than anything today, I think, is just the truth. People that see what's really going on and tell them the truth. Because a lot of people have feelings like, damn, we really live in a society where slut behavior and degeneracy are heavily encouraged. A lot of guys think that, but they don't hear that. People want to hear that. They want to hear that they're not going crazy or it's not just them, and that they're not defective for thinking that.
Right.
So that's why I tied the two stories together. You have a girl that turns 18 that becomes a millionaire within hours because she makes a porn website. And then at the same time, you have stories come out about home ownership's at an all-time low and marriage rates are plunging. And young men are depressed and young men are committing suicide and young men are addicted to drugs more than ever. And young men don't interact with women and fewer young men are actively dating than ever before. These stories are closely related stories.
Well, just in the last week, I've talked to two men that have had their lives destroyed by women. We just spoke to a gentleman yesterday, just got out of the hospital after being intubated for 10 days, and then another 2 weeks of bed rest because he tried to commit suicide because of his divorce. His wife was just, you know what I mean? She just checked out. She was treating him like a leper in his own home is basically what he told me. And this guy is just a good dude. Seriously, you cannot fault this guy in any way. He's such a good man. I've known him for a long time. I called him yesterday and I'm like, bro, what? It's sad, and his daughter doesn't want to come talk to him anymore. I mean, he's just living alone in an apartment now, wife just gone. And there goes his life, Another guy, I've been talking to him for a year now. And I told him from the very beginning, I'm like, wow, this woman is poison. She is dangerous. She is trouble. And he's he wouldn't listen. He kept going back to her and back to her and back to her. Dude, she comes to his house at like 3 a.m., like just a couple nights ago with some other dude. Like she convinced this other guy to like give her a ride. And this other guy thought he was bringing her to like some chick's house. Turns out she convinced this other dude she was hanging out with to take her by ex-boyfriend's house. And then they got into like this altercation. Dude pulled a gun on my friend. My friend freaked the fuck out, broke out the front windshield, the rear windshield, got ran over by the car. Like his hands broke, his knee is all freaking swelled up. And I'm like, bro, these women will ruin your life, man. They have no regard. Like, you gotta be so careful with women. What the fuck? Like, I don't know. That's some crazy shit right there.
Brought a gun to his house?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. One guy is in, where is he? He's in Minnesota. The other guy is in Wyoming. I won't, I'm not giving any specifics or anything, but yeah.
Well,
I talk to guys all the time that are just on the cusp or the brink of just absolute destruction and miserable. They're ready to die. Check out.
These are guys that are married or in relationships.
Married or just, breakups or whatever. That's part of why I wanted to start this show, is just because of like how many dudes I've talked to that are going through what I went through with the divorce, And it's just like, it's just like a heart of compassion because like, and when I just talked to my one bro from Wyoming, he's like, dude, and when this happened, he was like, nobody reached out to me. It was like, not only was I divorced, but I was just like helplessly alone. Like nobody reached out to me.
Well, I'm going to be kind of harsh.
Nobody reached out to him when he was in the hospital on fucking life support. Nobody.
Well, of course.
Nobody cares about guys. Nobody cares. I'm here for the guys.
Well, I don't know what to say about that. These are individual cases.
Individual cases, but I don't think they're so individual.
The larger cult. I mean, what can you draw from those two stories? Number one, why are men so lonely? Why is a guy in an ICU? He has no one. He doesn't even have his own family. Like, where are his kids? His kids are what?
One kid. Yeah, one kid. But she's not really interested. She's going to hang out with the mom.
Okay.
But she's 18 now, so she can make her own life choices. But,
well, I mean, this is the thing. I hate to say it, but most marriages just aren't going to last. Like I keep saying, I hate to keep saying it because it's like, why more black pilling? I think guys today just get this idea that they can hang it up after they walk down the altar. But the reality is you have to keep yourself in competition mode pretty much the rest of your life. You have to always be prepared. A lot of men just let themselves get fat and let themselves go after they get married because they've secured sexual access. They figure, fuck it, I'll just live the easy life. When really it's a lifelong struggle and process, especially in today's society. Like I don't know how people tolerate living here. I guess the larger thing from your two stories is because they're just, neither of them really surprise me. Like, have you heard someone tell those stories again? If you went to a diner and heard a story exactly like that with the names changed, would it really be that surprising to you?
Mm-mm.
No, because they're so common.
But the common thread I get with these, and even with my story, is that it's just like the amount of depression and loneliness for men is just, it's unbearable, right? It's phenomenal. It's nothing can prepare you, for, I don't know. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said don't get married. Don't get married. If you can be one of the few people that you can achieve the American dream these days, don't put it at risk with a marriage contract. Don't put it at risk with a marriage contract. But what is really the American dream, right? It's the idea that you can get upward mobility through the meritocracy, through talent and hard work.
Life, liberty,
and that you can live a better life than your children, that you can live a better life than your parents did. So
somehow your dreams are going to come true.
This is
whatever that means.
This is the American civic myth, is that anyone, regardless of birth, can achieve upward mobility through hard work, and that they can live better than their parents did. So this will be the first generation to live worse than their parents did, markedly worse. And you tie that into the family structure and the fact that you have a very high divorce rate. These are all cultural things. These are not what I guess what I'm saying is this is not like a story about individuals. This is a story about culture shaping people in society. So people ask, why are men so lazy, or why are men so, like, you see these articles where women complain about dating and it's always like, well, men need to step up. But it's like, well, why are men so unattractive to most women? And there's so many answers to it. One of them is a lot of men just check out because they don't feel like there's any reward for working hard, right?
I mean,
and then a lot of them also, and then you couple that with the see, here's the ironic thing. Social media has made women undesirable as long-term partners. But at the same time, as it's lowered the mate value of American women, it's greatly inflated their own perceived value because of how much attention they get on social media, how free it is. So American men are more unattracted to American women than ever before, thanks to social media. But social media has also inflated women's standards very high. So you have two problems that compound each other. Why is there a loneliness epidemic? That's it. That's where it comes from. By the way, women don't complain as much about loneliness. I mean, they do, but they complain about like lack of commitment because, again, they're all dating very small number of men, right? So the men who are dating are not in the commitment game because girls aren't worthy of commitment today. It's circular.
I mean, you're not wrong for most of them. They've all got, 20 fucking guys they're talking to at all times. Most guys aren't talking to like 20 different women. They're talking to like maybe a couple. Unless I don't know, Mr. Casanova, but.
So why is that women, why does it seem that they are always talking to backup guys?
Because they need a guy? I don't know. They use guys. It's easier for women to get guys than it is for most guys to get women. There's definitely,
so it's a matter of access. It's easy for them to have backups because it's all online. It's hidden.
Am I wrong about that?
No. Well, I don't know. The thing is, in theory, it's easy for them to do that. But the question is, do they actually do that? There's a lot of things. See, we want to get to the truth, find the truth of what's really going on.
Do we have
true or false? Dating in America is a nightmare, and people are more unsatisfied with it than ever before. Is that a true statement?
It's fucking fantastic.
Okay, so yeah, so it is true.
Shitting, bro. It sucks.
So obviously, so that's a true statement.
True or false? Do we have an incel problem in the United States?
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes, but
is that just
to some perspectives? To some perspectives, it's not
what
really
about women?
A problem.
Is there incel women? I don't know what the term is.
Yes,
for that.
There are. Femcel.
Femcel?
Yeah, you can be an incel, a woman incel.
What would be
we
the
see
ratio,
that we're seeing that more and more. Most women, see, here's what I'm getting to.
Women in this picture of incels versus femcels.
Here's what I'm getting to is there's widely believed myths. There are presuppositions in the manosphere that are very widely believed. Like if you say it to other people, if you say most women today are sluts, like many other guys will be like, yep, that's true, without questioning it. So what I'm trying to get to is the truth.
And I think you already proved that was wrong.
It is wrong.
It is wrong. That's not.
It's demonstrably wrong. It's actually worse. Most women are not sluts. Most young, and increasingly young women are celibate. They just avoid men completely.
Or prudish.
Well, I think those are two. You can describe someone as prude if they're just celibate. I mean, a lot of girls just don't like men. A lot of men just don't like girls.
Yeah.
So it's not that the women are undesirable because they're all sluts. That's just a myth.
This is interesting.
So you have to figure out what the real root causes are of the issue. My whole thing, what I keep bringing up, is the same thing I started. It's a cultural problem, but you can't have a society that rewards financially and otherwise. Female currency is attention. You can't enrich bad behavior.
Yeah, but we do. And all these guys, they call them simps, guys that are just, what do you call it? Just vying for women's attention. They're paying for it. They're like paying for attention. Like, do you see women doing that? It's just a phenomenon.
Well, that is the reason.
It's a
That's
phenomenon.
the reason why you have this little Tay girl turn 18, make millions of dollars within 3 hours. It's all simps. But what is a simp? Is a simp just a pathetic loser? Is a simp just some guy who's like a pathetic loser that actually believes that by paying a stranger money that she'll give him attention, or that he'll even more delusionally have a chance with her? It's simping is mental illness. Simping is a result of epidemic male depression and loneliness. Simping is a last-ditch effort when you don't know what else to do to get female attention. Simps are very miserable individuals. I feel bad for simps. Well, simps are not so much the cause of the problem as they are a symptom of the overall problem.
It's a phenomenon. It's phenomenal.
So simps, you have to get rid of simp behavior, but how do you do that?
Well,
how do you do that? It's the same problem with pornography. Pornography is bad for society, but how do you get rid of it when you have so many lonely men? Simping is the only way a lot of men will get any kind of attention, even though it's superficial, even though it's just some chick saying his name on a stream, even though it's highly one-sided and exploitative. A lot of simps don't care because that's the only attention they're ever going to get, or they're ever able to get. So you take it away from them, it's like you're making their life worse, not better.
Makes me wonder if there's just as many lonely women, though, but maybe they don't simp for men. Why is that?
Why do women not simp for men?
Yeah.
Because they're not lonely.
They're not.
First of all, they do. For the right men, they do.
Yeah, they do. I'm not saying
but there's no simp epidemic amongst women because women are not lonely in that same way. Like I said, women have friendships. Women have easy access to casual sex, so they can get that need met very easily if they want. So there's no reason to simp if you're a woman. You're the one that gets approached. You don't need to approach. You get it?
I get it. Yeah.
So that's why you don't see female simps. You could say there are female simps, though. Like the classic case is when Chad has to greatly limit his options temporarily. Then he has amongst the small pool, he has lots of female simps, but he replaces them,
So among U.S. adults aged 18 to 30, approximately 27 to 34% of men report no sex in the past year, compared to 18 to 24% of women. Figures may vary slightly by year, but with 2018 to 2023 trends showing a narrowing gap due to rising voluntary celibacy among women. So the gap, there's a little bit of gap there, but it's not like huge. Or is that?
Yeah.
18 to 24%.
It's notable.
Men are celibate, 27 to 34% of men are celibate. So it's like
the gap is not massive, but it needs to be explained. And the way that it's explained is that women share men. That's the explanation. Certain women share men.
Yeah.
But it's not a huge amount. As the article says, a lot of women revert to voluntary celibacy. So, yeah, but this is the thing. Like, a lot of guys are miserable because they don't have access to intimacy. Okay. But I guess the thing I'm trying to highlight constantly is that the big reason for that is the culture. It's not individual women, it's the culture.
Right. In general, it's the culture. Instead of just trying to blame women for the problem, it's a cultural problem.
Yeah. So if it's a cultural problem, how do you fix a cultural problem individually?
Well, you don't, but you can work on things on an individual basis, case by case basis. You can work on your own life, and it's going to have to be an individual thing. A culture within a culture is what you're going to have to look for. You're going to have to look for pockets of enthusiasm, the right.
Well, being solitude, just being a MGTOW, men going their own way, and avoiding women is one solution. I don't think an ideal solution.
Well, I still think the best advice ever is from Andrew Tate, and that's, work on your body. You can never go wrong by just working out, getting fit, and working on your, financial picture, trying to better yourself, better your income, take care of yourself, get your life going on, and, stop consuming so much content, create content instead of consuming it,
Or don't create any content. There's too many people that create content. Just work. Just do whatever your purpose is.
Yeah. Look for your purpose, whatever that is.
Nietzsche, who's a famous philosopher, existential philosopher, thought that the purpose of life was overcoming obstacles, more or less, overcoming resistance. So you find things that are meaningful, challenge yourself, and overcome that. If you look at major problems in your life as challenges to overcome, and the lack of marriageable women is one of them, then you become a passport bro.
Hey. Passport bro.
When I saw the story about the OnlyFans thing, it's like there's no saving this society. This society has certain things that it values, and the things that it values, it enriches. So it enriches sluts, degenerates, and narcissists. I don't want anything to do with this society. This society has to collapse and be reformed under a different ethos, because the one that it has now is just truly disgusting.
Collapsed and reformed. That sounds pretty dramatic. It sounds very drastic. I don't know.
Well, it needn't be a physical collapse. It needn't be an apocalypse. It needs to be the collapse of the individuals and institutions that promote the status quo, which is degeneracy. So things like Hollywood, major media, social media companies, all these things need to be reformed. You need to have different endpoints that matter to society. So that has to happen. That has to happen in order for the problem of male loneliness, the male loneliness epidemic, will never get better with the current status quo. So that it has to be changed. It won't be changed politically. It may be changed politically, but it won't be with Trump. So conservative this and the church this and all that stuff, that shit has failed completely and totally.
Well, that's an interesting point, because after my divorce, and I was like, I got sober, and then this, into Celebrate Recovery program. And I was, everybody would say, and I was like, yeah, I want to meet somebody. And like, well, get your butt in church, And I did. I had my butt in church for 5 fucking years straight. And not a goddamn single woman approached me. It's like, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck this bullshit.
Church is where you go to meet a wife when you're 16 and in high school and go into the youth group. If you're over 30, the only girls you're going to meet in church are single moms and reformed sluts. Don't even waste your time trying to find a partner at so-called church.
I was wasting my time there though. It seemed like if I would even approach somebody, I would get the ick from them. Like if I even in church, it's like whatever. I'm over it. You know.
A lot of women, that is their end game. They just become, born again virgins. Yeah, that's a well-known scam. That's a well-known scam. That's what they do. So, I mean, it's either they hit dating apps, they go to church, they try to inveigle some idiot into being their provider, and yeah, the same outcomes typically apply. So I would just avoid that.
Well, yeah,
I would avoid that. I'd
good to
avoid
meet
dating
someone.
apps.
And I know that's preached a lot. Like you'll hear that. That was what people told me. Like, get your butt in church, get your butt in that pew.
People are
That was there.
idiots. People are stupid.
And I had no offers, no approaches, like almost nothing in like 5 years. And I was going to all kinds of functions in a big church. Like, you know what? Yeah, no, whatever. That shit pisses me off.
Yeah, you're more likely to meet a chick just adding her, just messaging her on Facebook. That's likely to be way more useful. Not that you should do that either. But
I think you're more likely to just get like really busy and do a lot of different things. Try to get involved with people in a lot of different situations. Try to make yourself do a few social settings with some friends or friend groups or, maybe through work. Yeah. Just try to meet people in person. Like outside of, just go to different functions. I don't know.
Just be Chad. Just do the looks maxing. Just be looks maxing. Yeah, that's what the Zoomers do. Zoomers are going to be the most miserable generation because they're never going to realize the things that I said. They're just going to keep, oh, well, we just got a looks max, then the girls will like us. No, the girls don't actually want alpha Chads. They want beta losers. That's the other thing, is they want beta manipulatable losers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you become the best version of yourself for yourself, not for women. American women do not want winners. They want people that they can manipulate. This is broad strokes, or they just don't like men, period. But anyway, we got a little bit off topic.
Well,
I think
you had a couple of topics here for us.
I think that as things get worse, which they will, economically they are, it's just going to be important to tie the cultural trends, the absolute destruction of the American dating scene, the vilification of masculinity, and the economic realities of the average person, and tie those all together. They're all highly interconnected, highly related stories.
Well, your best chance of success is going to be to subscribe to the Uncensored Man podcast. Get plugged in with good men. It's the losers that are just sitting down there playing their video games, not talking with other dudes. Like iron sharpens iron. It's biblical. If you're not doing that, you're going to just stay dull. You got to get sharp somehow. Let other men sharpen you. You got to be talking to guys that are ahead of you or doing better than you. I really believe that, or you're just going to get left behind. Nothing's going to change in any aspect of your life. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay plugged in, hang out with people that are doing better than me and talk to people that are doing worse than me. You need somebody to pull you along, and you need somebody to push and pull, right? That's what I've always been taught.
Yeah.
You need somebody pulling you along, and you need to push someone else along, right?
That's right.
I think that's the way.
That's right.
And if you need to, move. If you're in a place where they don't pay well. I've been there. Like where I'm at right now, this is a shithole. This is a terrible place for jobs. This is not, it's gotten better, but I remember when we moved out of state, Gillette, Wyoming. It's a boom town. Everybody's incomes are just high over there. I mean, the average income over there, it was just common. Everybody 70, 80 grand a household. Over here, you're lucky if people are making 40 or 50 grand a household. Like, they can't do shit here. Most people are just, they're mad over $5, you know? Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
I'm not even making this shit up. Like, over there, you know, it's just, so if you need to move, you know, you can change your life by moving. I'm convinced of that. But a lot of people just,
yeah, I am too. That's the whole thing about, I would argue in many cases, you can't change your life until you move. You need a different environment. Men are not really going to typically change unless they suffer some sort of trauma. One way, in the absence of horrible divorce or shitty things happening to you, is to change your environment. That's a form of traumatizing yourself. So putting yourself somewhere new. Also, you know, our personality states are highly dependent on our environment. So most of the time, it is the environment that causes the problems. Believe it or not.
What was that thing in the Bible where it talked about Jesus' fame wouldn't come to him until he left his hometown? Do you know what I'm talking?
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Not really. No.
Okay. No, there's something to that.
Yeah,
there's something about that.
There's something you have to. Well, there's several points. If the culture is the problem, then you can't fix the culture. You have to just move cultures. That's one thing. The other thing is just, if you need to change yourself, changing your environment is one of the best ways to do it, because people don't. If you remain in the same physical environment, you're liable to revert to old behaviors and habits.
Right.
So that's it. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow. It's getting on the hours.
Doc's got to go. We'll catch you soon, Doc. Thanks for your time, and it's a good show.
We'll see you. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
Appreciate you, man. Have a great day.
You too.
Right.
This is the Uncensored Man Radio Show. This show contains adult language and content. Listener discretion is advised.